Welcome back again, Innovation Experts. Now the afternoon, and now we get very excited because we have an artist here. What does an artist have to do with medicine and innovation? Well, Michael Astrachan can tell us what. He is the founder of Expo, which is an imaging and artist. How would you describe your company, Michael?
Scientific visualization animation company.
Fantastic. Now, but before we get to the obvious area of medicine, which is why we're here, I think it's very interesting to find somebody who's trained as an artist here. Would you tell us a little about your background and how you got involved in medical imaging and artistry?
Sure. When I was out of college, I took further study in classical painting. So I became a classically trained artist, studied over a half dozen years with a master painter in New York. He was a student of, well, we can edit this out, right?
Yeah. It's not live. Just start again. If you want to start again, just
sure.
Say, wait, so you were saying about your classically trained painter.
Classically trained painter. I studied with a master painter in New York for a half dozen years in the classical method, doing portraits, still lifes, and landscapes.
So how did you get involved in setting up Expo? Because this sounds like a totally different career.
Well, I realized I was born in the wrong century, especially after my son was born and I had to make a living.
Right.
And then I entered in the field of animation, because back when I entered, it was a few years before that, it was unaffordable to be a computer animator. The computers are too expensive.
They were
just a fortune. And I found out that it was affordable, so I invested in a computer. I learned the technology, and I developed a portfolio, and seemed to find a lot of work with pharmaceutical companies at the time. I'm in the northeast of the US. There are a lot of pharmaceuticals around. And I eventually started doing work for who is now my partner, David Belinsky.
Right.
He had an animation company. I was freelancing. And we worked very well together and formed Expo about a year later.
And it's particularly this field of in pharmaceuticals and in medicine. Why particularly is that a field that needs visualization? Take us through that a bit more. Obviously, you're dealing with things at a molecular level, interacting with other molecules and proteins. How did you get your head around that? You weren't scientifically trained. What was your metaphor? What was your vision?
Well, it was interesting because I was a little nervous about doing the medical stuff at first, and then it became much easier as I got into it. I come from a family of doctors. My brother's a surgeon, my father's a psychiatrist, my sister's a psychologist, so I'm sort of the black sheep. But I found it easy to communicate in the medical language. And the medical field certainly needs visualization tools because a lot of this can't be seen by the human eye. So to explain complex procedures and complex mechanisms needs animation.
And this is you're animating, you're visualizing for the sake of specialists, for the sake of the general audience, for surgeons, for...
We're doing it for everybody, for patient education, for surgeons, for internal communications, sales force education, for potential investors, anybody who needs to learn about the technology.
So often we're talking obviously emphasizing innovation here, if somebody's got a very innovative product, people have a difficulty visualizing it. So you talk to them and you find a way that they can sell the product, find a market for it.
And get people excited about it.
Have you got an example of that, of something which you're very proud of, or you found a way of visualizing something which helped sell a product? Is there one
we're working for, we've been doing work for a new antiviral company. And before we started to do the animation, they would have a PowerPoint presentation, just very dry. Really didn't get people excited about it. And now when they go into meetings to talk to investors, they show the animation, gets people excited, and then they can talk about the business model behind that. But now people are already interested on it and they get it. They understand what they're trying to do.
And that's because you've made it an animation, because you've clarified things, or because you've added a sort of Hollywood soundtrack and made it look like Star Wars, I mean, or Fantastic Journey, the one where Rachel wait.
A little of both. Yeah.
So example of how do you visualize a antiviral drug? You show it's working on a virus, attacking it, it's a bit like Robot Wars.
We can start wide, on the face and then zoom in into the throat. We can see the virus attaching. We can then zoom in closer and see the individual proteins that are involved in viral replication.
Fantastic. You have a very famous video which people have been talking about. I haven't seen it yet. which is kind of one of the Oscar winners, or the D.W. Griffith of the medical imaging. Can you talk us a bit through that?
Sure. That was a piece we did for Harvard called Inner Life of a Cell. It was an 8-minute didactic piece about a journey inside of a leukocyte to see how a leukocyte, how the cytoskeleton works, and how proteins are created, and how it's how the motility of a leukocyte works. And from that 8-minute piece, we created a 3-minute beauty piece, a poetic piece, and we gave that to Harvard. And when Harvard released it, people went nuts for it. They absolutely loved it.
It went viral because
it went viral. Yeah, Harvard needs to. They keep removing some of the because it's copyrighted material, but still, people really responded to it. It's a great piece. We get letters. Still, we released it a couple of years ago, and we're still getting dozens of letters.
It's a biography of a white blood cell.
Of a white blood cell, yes.
And shows what it does, and it's moving. There's a hero, the white blood cell. Does die at the end?
The internal parts of the white blood cell. Now it goes between two endothelial cells.
It's amazing. Well, I look forward to seeing that. Looking forward ahead. You know, this is a conference about a big symposium about innovation. Where do you see the next field? What's the thing you'd really like to visualize, which you're struggling with, or you could see as being the biggest challenge going ahead?
I think some of the you can see it on the show floor. They're showing a lot of scans, digital data scans from CAT scans. I think that's very exciting, to be able to take that volumetric data into our software and manipulate it, and being able to use that as data that we could go into. And especially in years to come, we'll see that data getting finer and finer, where we can even get down to at a cellular level, and we can use that data in our animation.
So actually peering inside the brain, finding out its organic components, and this is
and the real material, the real, you know.
And this is live patients or patients who have disorders. So in a way, it's a diagnostic program. It's not just visualization. Right. Selling new products. It's a way of patients having their brains visualized
or their organs visualized. You can use a program. It's on the Apple website. It's called Osirix. And you could take this DICOM data. So if you were to be scanned, you can ask your radiologist, "Can I have my DICOM data, please?" And if he's nice, he'll give it to you.
And he uploaded it.
And then you can take that in and load it.
Showed at parties. Look at my kidneys. Or
That's right. That's right. It's shown to your children.
And especially on a date, you can say, "Look, what a good shape I'm in."
Look at this. Look at this.
It's a fantastic set of principles.
And that's very interesting, because we work with a medical illustrator, and he uses Osirix all the time. And he said one of his students actually diagnosed fused discs that he never knew he had, because he had a CAT scan for an intestinal issue, and then he was looking at it and analyzing. He's like, "Oh my God, I have a fused disc." And he was able to bring that to his radiologist and say, "You never tracked this, you never saw this."
So in a way, it's empowering people. It's like a lot of phenomenon, a lot of modern technology, like around at the moment. The individual tweets, the individual diagnosis.
And especially now with kids today, they're so comfortable with modern technology. They'll absolutely be looking at their own data scans.
So it's a way of visualizing, both for clinicians, also us visualizing ourselves.
Right.
And so do you see yourself, beyond actually making your own animations, creating apps that you created the software where other people can use it? I mean, that you're creating basically an application software, which is...
No, we're more of the artistic filmmakers side, and less of the software side.
There, you're Hollywood. You're the Hollywood of medical imaging. Fantastic. Michael, that was great to talk to you. Great to meet an artist here. And I look forward to seeing your show reel very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Oh, I really want to see it now.
So if you go to